Are we live?
I hope we are.
Yeah, we're good now.
All right,
Live
so
studio audio.
we're here with my boy Jalel, who's a certified MD and doctor,
Newly.
newly doctor. Look at him, bro. Come on, show some doctor hands.
It's great to be here, guys.
And
Thank you so much.
He was
Thank you for
telling me
having
before
Of
this
course.
that after every meal, it is actually beneficial to take a small piece of dark chocolate and eat it.
I don't remember when I talked about that,
No,
but
you did.
He said that?
He did say that. He was like, Dylan,
So-
because I was talking about it like last time we met,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, Jalel, I just feel like when you're done eating, to help you digest, just pop a little piece of dark chocolate, dog. Nothing harm can go to it. It's like the healthiest type of like chocolate. That's
So-
correct, right?
I think what you did say that, and I kind of just said, yeah, you probably could do that, and then you said that it was associated with health benefits. That
Yeah.
I mean, hey, research needs to be done.
And then he came back to me and he said, I am going on a limb and I'm putting my MD out there and confidently saying that after you eat, it is beneficial. This is him speaking, not me. He's giving you health advice right now. It is beneficial. Dr. Jalel, we'll put his number down if you want to talk to him more about it. That if you
Please
eat
don't.
dark chocolate after every meal, it is beneficial for you. And you will see health effects.
So I think a few of those words were misconstrued right there.
Should I have said beneficial louder?
If any of the programs I am applying to see this, I didn't say that, but
They would be
hey,
like, wow.
you know
we want
what?
him on our team.
maybe it's one of those things that we can investigate. I mean, who knows? Maybe there is. You're
You
on
kind of
something.
made it seem like you already investigated in it.
I hadn't been, and yeah, I haven't been.
So then why'd we talk about it? So, you said it so clearly and confident.
But I think again, what happened was you told me this. It was more so you told me that hey, there are health benefits to eating dark chocolate after eating meals, and I was kind of like, oh, okay.
You also told me ice cubes on the hemorrhoids make them go down.
I did not say that one.
What do you mean, bro? Who's giving me this doctor advice?
I don't know. I mean, you may be talking to somebody else. Was this over the phone or?
It was you, in person. Look me in the eyes for a second and say, ice cubes on your hemorrhoids help them. Why are your eyebrows shaking?
I can't confirm that.
As a medical professional,
Nick, do you have?
Oh
do you
my
have?
I want to be able to quote you.
I want to tell you what you want to hear, but I can't tell you the answers that you want if I don't know that they're factually correct.
So all I'm learning is when it
So-
comes to
so-
camera, you're a liar.
So what you're saying is
That's
that
what it sounds like,
there's
guys.
just no medical evidence for any of this.
Yes, that is what I'm saying. There's no. But you know what? Maybe you could discover something and change the way we do medicine.
That kind of sounds like your job, dog.
But I mean, if we're not doing it, then hey, you know what?
So if someone comes and let's say I'm obviously
Somebody.
We'll give you funding.
No.
We're gonna buy you a bag of ice and
You know
some dark
what?
chocolate.
There-
And you go for it.
Let's just say hypothetically speaking, I don't have my MD, but I'm
Hypothetically speaking.
hypothetically speaking, I'm
Okay.
not saying I don't have it.
Okay.
I'm not saying I do, but hypothetically speaking, I don't have my MD, and I
Okay.
do some research and shit, and I find out that ice cube on your hemorrhoids help them.
Okay.
Are they is the Doctor Association and Jalel gonna be like, hey, this is good. This is we're happy you found this out.
Uh-huh.
But since you didn't go to med school, we can't use it.
So because that association doesn't actually exist at the moment,
Well, just
no, they
regular,
won't do
regular
that.
MD shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of steps involved before you can get a research article published. so you
I
have
won't
to
get money from
propose.
that.
Who are you going to get money from?
Fundings. The fuck?
It would be really great if it worked that way, but no, they make it a little bit more difficult. Yeah,
So why would I do research on my own?
that's a good question.
Because you're doing it for just the sake of helping lesser fortunate people.
With hemorrhoids?
Yep.
Get baby wipes. You'll be fucking fine.
Wow.
I believe in you though that you would be able to find somebody that's willing to endorse your proposed investigation.
Even if I didn't have my MD.
I think you could do it. I have faith in you as a person,
Now, what if
as
I
an
did
individual.
that with you by my side?
Are you asking for a partnership?
I would say I'm proposing.
There we have it.
Everything I said earlier, I can actually quote him on it.
And for the sake of not getting sued, none of this is medical advice.
No, none of this is recommended
this.
Unless
medical
Jalel
advice.
said it. Unless the guy in the middle said it.
I'll say if there is something that is medical, I'll prompt if there's medical advice that I recommend. I do not do that as of right now.
I'm gonna take that clip and edit it, and just I'm gonna have that forever. I'm gonna take medical advice and I'm gonna be like, "Has your hemorrhoids ever burnt out of control?"
And then it's just a side clip of Jalel saying, and then like just cut right out again.
Yeah, I'm afraid that this is gonna happen now, and no, nothing that we talk about here is medical advice that
Wait, hold
is
up.
recommended at all.
Look at-
Nothing.
Look at my new shirt. I made that shit. Hold up. I made it.
Oh,
Blaine, I'm doing a podcast. What's
pause.
up?
Time out. So Nick,
Wait,
how you
guys,
doing,
keep
bro?
talking. I called you an hour ago, bro. Because
How you doing?
I'm doing
We're still
fantastic.
sparring
Thank you for
tonight.
having me, by the way. I've been
11.
wanting to do this for a while, and
All right.
we've tried a couple times, but
glad.
we finally made it happen.
hopefully it's
I'm glad to
fucking
have
done.
you on. You're
Likewise.
finally at the
What?
end of your academic career.
Who?
Thank all the
Who is
gods.
this?
All of them, yeah, because
Allah and on. Everyone's
God.
getting thanked tonight.
every single one, because it was a
doing the
journey that
podcast.
I had a lot of, not
Yeah.
not doubt that it was never gonna happen, but
Thanks,
there
dog.
were a lot of times where I wasn't
right now,
sure.
they're talking about medical.
it was gonna
stuff,
happen.
But I'm kind of
Don't,
interrupting.
you're literally killing the microphone audio.
So-
don't do that.
So yeah, thank you to all my supporters, all my people. Shout out to you guys.
Because you went through a journey.
I did, yeah.
You bared the
The tundra of Michigan.
tundra of Michigan in the worst winter in 50 years.
Yeah, yeah. The tundra of Michigan.
As a Florida boy
the
that never saw snow.
lived in the Caribbean, which sounds like it'd be a lot better. When you say like, "Oh, I lived in the Caribbean for a few years," like that sounds like it would be great, and there were a lot of perks to it. But
Like Percocets? You're doing Percocets in the Caribbean? I'm
in
sorry.
that time, there was a lot of stress as well, and so the stress
Wait,
kind
no, I'm
of
back, guys. I'm back.
like shadowed that opportunity to do a lot of things that you would otherwise do in the Caribbean, like enjoy the beaches. I mean, we did
Okay, so we were talking
things
about
a
this.
lot.
You went to
but-
University of Michigan.
We already passed that.
Yeah, but I caught up. And then
No,
you
we're
went
going
to,
backwards.
You went to Grenada.
Let's
Yeah,
ask a new question.
but
Who-
but that's
who do you like
correct,
better,
yeah.
me or Nick? You want to ask
Y'all
new
are
questions,
both
dog, right?
wonderful people.
You want to ask new questions, Nick?
Yeah.
These could be the questions we ask.
And I'm saying don't derail our own podcast. What's wrong with you?
Oh, now it's just your podcast. Now I have nothing
I
to do
said
with the podcast.
our own podcast. Plural. Come on. What is this, huh?
But it is great to be here. I feel as though that there's
No,
a
you look
lot of
fantastic, dog. I think you're
Stop
honestly the
it.
most attractive guest we've ever had.
stop it.
Like that
Don't
smile,
hype me up that way.
If you literally told me I had 4 months to live and you smiled like that, I'd be like, worth it.
That's why I'm going in oncology. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't want to have to do that. That would make me sad. I hope you
What?
have more than 4 months to live.
So wait, what kind of doctor do you want to be?
So I've got a lot of different things. I'm applying for internal medicine right now for
What does that
residency. So an internal medicine doctor is your hospitalist that if you go to the hospital,
Is external
Tip-
dermatologist?
what?
Is external dermatologist?
No,
But you see why I would think that, right?
no, I don't.
Because external, dealing with skin
I see.
shit.
I see why you would think that. Yeah,
So you just
But
said
no.
no, you don't.
because it's just it was a weird way of presenting the way of making that comparison. You know what I'm
I don't really
saying?
know the credentials of your medical school, but that's okay.
I'm not going to say what I want to say. But yeah, as a hospitalist, that's what an internal medicine doctor is. So if you go to the hospital and usually your first place that you'd be is in the ER, you
So you
talk
wanna
to the
be
ER
like a
doctor.
pediatrician.
And after the ER, if you get admitted to the hospital, then you would be working with me, the hospitalist. So I would be overseeing, one of the doctors of, you might be working with a variety of different doctors depending on your circumstances. But at first you would be evaluated by internal medicine, which is like your hospitalist. And then from there, if you have other issues or other reasons to see a specialist like GI or hematology, cardiology, you would see them as well. And so you would have a team of people helping you out. But essentially, I'm kind of the one overseeing the care. and then we're getting help from specialists for recommendations. So that's kind of how it works.
So you're basically the doctor that you see at the hospital.
Yeah, that sums it up.
Yeah,
That sums
I'm
it
just
up.
asking.
No.
So is that like someone who's like mastered everything, or?
So like every specialist, for the most part, not really in surgery. Surgery is different. So like if you have a surgical subspecialty, then they typically train in general surgery unless they're orthopedics or things like urology. But in terms of surgery, what most people think, you would go general surgery and then subspecialize from there. Internal medicine would be your fundamentals for other fields. And then if you want to do a specialty from there, like gastroenterology, cardiology.
Gastro's GI, right?
Yeah.
It's for like your tummies?
That's correct.
Okay.
So you would do internal medicine for 3 years. And then from there, depending on what the specialty is, it's anywhere from 1 to 3 years. Some have 4-year fellowships, but yeah, that's typically how it works. So I want to do a specialty. I'm not sure yet exactly what. I'm pretty interested in GI. So that's a 3-year fellowship.
Okay.
So internal medicine's 3 years. GI is 3 years.
So you got 3 years.
6 years.
Fuck.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to be a pediatrician, can you do that right now?
You can apply for internal medicine with pediatrics as well. Yeah, you can like do a residency that has both of them.
And you just got those snotty fucks?
No, you would have kids, yeah. But you would also have internal medicine, yeah, as for adults.
So wait, pediatricians deal with adults too?
Some adults like to go to their pediatrician, but no, typically not. Yeah, like some people. I mean, like you got
like it's normal. Like an adult will actually just go to pediatricians as their doctor, as their primary.
No, not really. Unless like you're a pediatrician that has training in
Adult
another.
bodies.
Well, yeah, I mean, like you would have that, but in a fellowship or a subspecialty that is appropriate for adults. So, like, I worked with a pediatrician who was also an
paid
allergist. What's that?
Pediatricians?
I
I kind of feel like they should.
So like that's a tough question because it's regional based, your pay, and if you look at like the general schemata of the hierarchy of how pay works in medicine,
I like when you say schemata.
pediatrics is toward the bottom.
That was just so good.
Goals to be a
But-
dermatologist.
Yeah, I mean you get paid mad money for a
no,
dermatologist.
tell them
like
what you fucking told me.
Yeah.
Bro, those dermatologists, they fucking what's it called? Don't you say
dermatologists.
they have the easiest job? And isn't it like
No, I'm not gonna insult the field that way as a whole.
All right, but you
especially
did,
like
but-
this. I never said that.
you definitely did.
So-
you said those assholes work like 3 days a week.
I never said
How
I never
would
said
know?
that. I
Then
never
you were
said
like literally like the top 3% of like that test you have to take.
Disclaimer: this is blasphemy.
so
Definitely said that.
so we can edit this part out, right?
No, we're not editing dick out.
Can we
Oh,
edit this part out?
Don't put him on the spot. What are you doing?
We won't. But we're
No, I
sending
don't
this
feel like
to
I'm
all
on the spot.
interview people that you
But
have.
don't do that. Otherwise, I won't be mad at you, but just know that you will have ruined my life. And like you will have to live with that.
All right, Jalel said that dermatology is the hardest field to get into.
It's a very difficult field. There's a lot of competition because a lot of people want to go into dermatology.
What's like the benefits of it?
I mean, there's a lot of benefits. Like the pay is very well in dermatology, and the nice thing about it is that you can really make your work hours or your schedule whatever you want them to be, and you know it's a very lucrative business. That's all. That's the extent of what I've ever said.
No, this is definitely something new.
I believe it.
So would you want to be a dermatologist?
No, I mean like I have respect for them, but that's not really like that doesn't parallel with my interests.
Kind of. So
You know.
you're like implying that it's like
If you were to go into medicine, what would you want to be?
probably dermatologist.
Yeah, it's a good field.
Yeah.
What about you, Nick? What would you want to be?
I feel like it's like a waste.
Wow.
I
Wow.
like the thought of dermatology. You get to check people's skin.
What's a foot doctor?
Podiatrist.
Yes.
I do that.
Foot
Okay.
doctor. I feel like a foot doctor is probably a little bit more complicated than because you actually have to do like
So it's-
surgery on the feet. Don't
It's
you?
different schooling, actually. Like, I mean, you're a doctor, but
You're still an MD?
not no. You're a
So
doctor.
not really
of-
like respected amongst the doctor
you are
community.
respected, but
Who's
you're
the
not
least
a
respected
medical
doctors?
doctor. There's no least respected doctors. I feel like
it
every
start
field
with
is
a D?
respectable. What?
And a dermatologist.
No, they're very respected. I mean, it's very difficult to get an appointment with a dermatologist. They do very well for themselves. They have great lifestyles, if they so choose to.
So why wouldn't you want to be a dermatologist? Just asking,
I mean,
out of curiosity.
because with what I want to do with medicine, it wouldn't give me the same fulfillment that I would have going into a field like GI. Rheumatology is another interesting one to me.
So
Cardiology
just
would be really
dissecting
cool.
that, it just kind of sounds like dermatology has zero to no fulfillment.
Just to change
Well-
this conversation
Well,
entirely.
no, it's
Have you ever heard of traveling Botox party people, where it's like a nurse practitioner that literally goes around to like Boca House Mom, places, and then like literally will have a $10,000 day with Botox
have you heard this?
at their house? No, it's
that's
a
lit.
thing.
Is that like so? Like, do plastic surgeons, are they doctors too?
Yes, yeah, they definitely are. But no, what you're saying is absolutely true. Like, you make mad money doing that, and a lot of people actually like they will learn Botox. Like, they'll get certified in being able to work with Botox, and
Do you need
like I could do
to
that as
be-
internal medicine.
Okay. Do you need to have like some sort of nursing certification in order to do Botox injections, or can you just be
not at all.
certified in doing it?
No, I can get training for it. I mean, it's actually like I don't know the exact timeline for it, but it's essentially it's part of your training during residency. You could even do it while you're board certified and out of residency.
Have
but
you met someone like
as long
that
as
in
you're
school?
certified to do it, then you could do it.
Have you met someone like in school and they're like, I want to be a plastic surgeon?
Oh yeah.
Dude, you know how many people probably would kill to be like a California fucking celebrity plastic surgeon, dude?
Yeah, and plastic surgery, that's
that's definitely a thing.
So you're just putting like fucking fillers?
no,
in
that's
people's faces
that's what I
and
was
making
just
them
going to say.
cheese?
Not at
You're
all.
doing like facial reconstruction.
Yeah, it's a very fulfilling field as well. I mean, you give people a lot of their life back in plastic surgery, and there's a lot more to
So-
it than just like what you see on
A lot of
you
it's
know,
like you
But
get
what
into
about,
a
like,
car crash
stigmatized
and
stuff.
shit, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, but I'm talking about the Boca fucking moms you talking about, bro.
That's Botox. That's why I was asking. 'cause
You can do that too
that's-
if you
that's
want.
a
So
do you
niche
have to
field
go-
I heard about recently, and
Do
it
you have
sounds
to go
crazy.
to school to do Botox? Like doctors?
You have
It's
to have some sort of nursing certification. or
it's training,
doctor
yeah.
Okay.
yeah. I mean,
So how much
you would
do
have
I gotta do
to.
to do Botox?
You would have to. I mean, you would have to have like credentials in some form of healthcare.
So what
But-
if I, going back to what we said earlier,
Uh-huh.
I'm the one that discovered that like how to help your hemorrhoids, but I'm not a doctor or an MD, but I have an article written about me. Can I get into Botox just that? 'Cause those
No.
are credentials.
No,
Those are credentials.
it's
though.
it's not. You would have
So-
your name on a paper, but
I mean,
that-
isn't that basically what a degree is?
no.
Kind of feels like that.
So your name would be on a peer-reviewed
Paper.
publication if you're lucky.
So what?
So you're saying I would be in a textbook?
So what you're saying
No.
is, if let's say,
Peer-reviewed publication.
if let's say Dylan did a home done test that was like super official with ice cubes
And I experimented on birds.
and birds. Do they even get hemorrhoids like that?
About to find out, dog.
Let's
a
say
good
he
question. I
does
don't
that
know.
test on himself
Yeah.
because
In bird form.
PETA's about to kick down the door.
Okay. Okay.
Like, could he get that published?
No, I mean, like, you would have to be able to defend your publication against, honestly, scrutiny from other people. So they would try to debunk your findings, and you would have to be able to defend them with your data.
Test.
With your data. And, like, I mean, so for example, there's a lot of studies that are done where you have a population pool or a population sample of like 10. And that doesn't really give you any concrete, scientific, reliable data because with 10 people, I mean, there's a lot of
Room for error.
opportunity. Yeah, I mean,
I
there's
feel that.
yeah. So one of the aspects of like good research is you have to have a large sample size when you're doing a study, and that of course comes with that does make it difficult to publish something that's high quality because how are you going to publish something with 1,000 people?
Yeah.
Part of the study.
So
This is
But-
kind of off topic, but I feel like when girls call you bro, they have like a bigger dick than you. And like they
Why?
definitely like big spoon. They're like, "What's up, bro?" And I'm like,
Why though?
"Damn."
Why do you feel that way? So like defend your argument.
Just the way they
See if
say
you can
it.
get it published.
The way our like so like say bro,
Bro.
and you feel like you said that, like now imagine like saying like what's up, bro? Like that, like those letters
Mm-hmm.
kind of have like a certain like toughness to them.
So what is the criteria for what dictates whether or not somebody's more alpha based on the is it based on the tone of how they articulate words or
No, it's the words that they say. Like if I call, like if I'm like, "What's up, daddy?"
Mhm.
How you gonna view me?
I don't know what you mean.
How you gonna view me? Like, "Hey, daddy, what's up?"
I mean, you say
Like,
that
you're
a
more
lot.
comfortable, right?
Yeah,
You're more like,
but you say that a lot. If
I
like
do.
if Keith, your dad, said that,
Said
I
what?
like if he said, "Hey, daddy,"
Keith?
to me,
I'd be like, he's in a great mood today.
I would be confused. Like it would catch me
definitely
off
be
guard.
a tone shift from the norm.
That's just an example, but like
would you
because
view
like if
him-
you say it, like it's not as it wouldn't get me as confused.
So like, what if you just passed an old man and he said, "Hey, daddy," and he licked his lips?
I don't know how
Would you feel
I don't know how I would
threatened?
feel. There's a lot of other factors
But
that
you wouldn't
are,
feel threatened, would you?
I mean, it depends. Does he have a knife in his hand, or does he have like?
Definitely might feel a little.
He has a
cringed out.
knife, but he also has bagels.
Do I see the knife?
You see the bagels.
What kind of bagels?
I'd be scared to eat the bagels at that point
Why?
because if he's seems cringy, like awkward,
So now he's
you might be getting like
So I can like whip out like, "Hey, daddy," and it's not cringy or awkward.
no
but
because
age
that
me 60
that,
years
that
and it's
fits
awkward?
you. Well, no, it depends on the old guy. Like if it's an old guy that's just awkwardly presenting himself and he's licking his lips while he's like, "What's up, daddy?"
I mean, what if his lips are just dry and you just come at that point?
What's your guys' favorite bagel?
Honestly, I like Papa Seed because of the Kanye West verse. Do the Papa Seed.
I'm a whole eat everything kind of guy.
Whole wheat. Okay, everything. I would say.
Yeah. Everything.
Yeah.
What about you,
I think I fucking answered.
Jalil?
What?
He said everything.
Oh, you said everything as well.
Oh no, I'm the only one who said everything. You
And then
said
Nick
what'd you
jumped
say?
on. He goes, "I don't want whole wheat anymore. I want everything."
No,
Stick
I
to your
said a
fucking
said
whole
bagel,
wheat.
pussy.
I said whole wheat everything bagel.
Oh wait, is whole wheat not a bagel by itself?
I like the combo.
So whole
does that
wheat is the
mean?
type of bread. Then the everything is like a lot of stuff on the bagel.
Isn't
Yeah.
Papa Seed used for meth? I
So-
want that bagel.
So it's not really papa seed. It's poppy seed.
Go fuck
Did I lose talking privileges? What is?
No,
Oh,
it's
sorry.
back, it's
I mean,
back.
I don't know. Like if that's gonna be all
You'll be fine.
okay.
Don't worry about
Just
it.
like you.
Yeah.
So-
in my Papa Seed bagel.
Now that you're
Finally,
pretty
a
much
doctor.
a doctor,
How did you
right?
feel? Would you go back
It's
in time
wild.
and do it again?
I mean, like, I don't know. That's a tough question. That actually is a tough question because there's a lot of
You ever get any pussy
aspects.
because you're like, "Yo, I'm in MD school, trying to get this doctor dick,"
So like,
Then
I don't know if I
you
would do it
skull.
again.
and then you like put that cold thing on their chest,
So
That
like,
cold
and
thing.
you slowly kiss their neck while their nipples get hard.
I've never done that
And
before.
then you grab their arms and slowly make your way down. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Look at me when I talk to you.
Jalil, he's the old guy with bagel and a knife.
Yeah,
Oh my
I feel
God.
like you got bagel with a knife kind of energy exuding right now.
Hey, daddy.
Oh my god. So like with your medical school journey, what's the most insane
What's the
part of
lowest
it?
you had?
Yo.
What's your lowest?
Let's start with insane
Where-
because I
what's
feel like
your
the lows got pretty crazy.
So let's talk about the deepest moments of my journey. No, I'd rather not.
We're not gonna relive that.
So what was your question? I'm sorry.
What's like the most insane part of it? Like, is it like the debt? Is it like the cost of it, or is it just like the way things like are as a whole?
I mean, that's tough. It's all really tough. I mean, the debt isn't fun at all. It's a lot. It's a lot. But the difficulty of it also, yeah, I mean, it's very tough. But if you can develop habits and routines that facilitate a successful
This all sounds pretty
experience in medicine. I mean, I'm
You're an
trying to like
optimistic
spin it
guy.
I
positive.
want to hear the lows.
I do want to like inspire people to go into it because like it's a field that is very needed, but you have to really want it. If it's something that you're on the fence about, highly recommend against doing it. But if you've had very good experiences in the past where you're passionate about healthcare, you want to make a difference in people's lives directly.
Like healthcare, like the United States healthcare.
I mean, if you're passionate about health, like taking care of people, like you need to want to help people.
I feel you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
That was it.
But there's a lot of ways to do that. So like you can, I mean, every member of the healthcare that makes up the healthcare field is very important. So if any part of that is fractured in any way, then it leads to severe problems in providing somebody with high quality healthcare. So if you don't have nursing staff to back up your physicians, then that's a lot of trouble. If you don't have the technicians to carry out different tasks that doctors order, then that's a big problem as well. If you don't have,
it's like a running like system.
Yeah, it's
It's
a very
like a restaurant.
It is. It's exactly like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like everybody has their own job description,
Specific jobs and shit that they have to do.
Yeah. And it's without that
Scalpel. The scalpel bitch has to give you the scalpel.
yeah,
Has it gotten better since like COVID's died down a little bit? Like, have you noticed like it's just not as high stress as it was?
I mean, yeah, so like it is less high stress in the hospital, at least like where I've worked. I mean, I would say like everywhere COVID only added a significant amount of stress to the people that make up the healthcare field, as well as just like different facilities, like hospitals, clinics. I mean, and it still has like lasting effects that are still prevalent now. But I mean, at the time, just like 2020, 2021, it was, there were a lot of times where like the highest people up in like somebody's healthcare. I mean, your attendings or like medical directors, like the chief of medicine, I mean, I've seen people very emotional and broken over it. And, now that it's died down quite a bit, it's been more manageable.
Do you think insurance shit is fucked up in the way like the healthcare system's ran? Because you're like from an inside. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of
You see
it
it different than us.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of like what I think you would expect it to be. Like it's just as frustrating to us when things don't get approved and we're not able to provide management or treatment that we want to because somebody gets denied over like an insurance claim, or they just are not accepted for medication.
So do you think like a system like Canada or like Europe's like healthcare system would be more beneficial?
I mean,
do you think it'd be like, what would you think the difference of working like for that system compared to like the fucking money scheme in the U.S. would be?
So I don't know like the ins and outs of how that works entirely, but I mean,
does.
if we're able to give people what they need without there being much of a burden in providing it, then yeah, of course.
Yeah. I mean, like, for instance, like the UK, right? You still get paid a lot of money, right? But you're paid directly based on how healthy your clients are, and obviously the amount of patients you're treating.
Okay.
So, like, if you're like an A+ doctor that has like a sizable practice, you could still make $400,000 a year as like a primary type
like
of
if
doctor.
all your fucking people are just jacked, like salad.
I don't know about that, but like,
fucking
like
tan as fuck,
in a
sunburn.
hold on. Like in America, like 30% of your patients are like pre-diabetic, like right off rip. Like in the UK, they don't have that kind of issue, and like they don't have
Do you
people
also
coming
think
in with
though
like
with that pre-diabetic
near-death
shit,
experiences.
it's because of the way we process food in America?
Yeah, that's a whole different conversation. But yeah, I mean, the quality of food definitely contributes to the morbidity of people. Yeah.
So what do you think, like down the line in America, like just strictly talking about America right now?
Okay.
Just America. What do you think?
The only place that matters.
What do you?
Just kidding.
You got a lot of fucking quotes today, dog. But
I'm just saying what
just
you
kidding
what
now.
you
I
said.
didn't say that, but I'm just saying.
Dylan claims that
What?
the only place that matters is the United States.
I claim
That's
that you need
it.
to shut the fuck up right now. Well, I'm just kidding, Daddy. I love you so much.
This is why
What
you
do
have
you-
as many guests as you have had
What
on
do
your
you
show.
think? What do you think is gonna be the next like problem in the next couple of years, like to Americans? Obesity.
I mean, obesity is already a problem.
I know. You think it's gonna
but
get worse?
I think it's going to be, I think, kind of steady. I don't think that there is any reason to believe that there is going to be a surge of obesity over the next few years.
No, I'm just asking. Well, I'm not saying obesity.
I think it's
I'm just
actually,
saying-
I think eventually with time, like obesity is going to it's going to decline because people are becoming more aware of
And
different
people are eating
factors.
healthier now, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I honestly think it's more like mental health. That's like the next big thing.
So yeah, that is actually huge. And even in terms of where like students, my position, want to go for their train or what they want to do, in terms of their profession, there is a lot more people that are wanting to pursue psychiatry.
Really?
Really?
Yeah,
Do you have to be an MD for that shit?
yeah, of course. Yeah, you have
So-
to be.
And
You have to do
an
like
MD of the mind.
I mean, your training is in psychiatry.
Mind doctor.
Have you seen these new studies
You're
coming
saying
out?
that like it's not like it's a dermatologist.
No, I mean, there's more to it, but
So have you seen
We'll
these
get back
new
to that.
studies about like psychedelics and things like that coming out now that are like showing to have like there was a study that came out recently that showed that I think it was like a control group of like in fives, right? And they found that like if you did like this mediated cyclobin trip or whatever.
Oh, the mushroom shit.
Yeah, but like
like
it
the
was
school
it was no, hold on. It was like like what is this? It
that's
was
the
like a
thing.
synthetic cyclobin formula, and it induced like an 8-hour trip, so to speak.
a synthetic version.
That's what I read.
Okay.
It could just be like they
what is it,
they
fucking
extracted it. It was like more like a pill instead of like eating a mushroom.
Yeah. Okay.
But they found that like 3 of the 5 people
Nice.
literally had like lasting effects. Like their depression was alleviated, and they only took their entire group was based on like people that normal medications were not working.
Really?
So like 3 out of 5 of them like had like lasting effects off rip, and then like they did repeated trials for like I think a few weeks,
Okay.
and then they found after a few more sessions of like therapy and that injunction of like the chemical, it was like a 4 out of 5. Like it helped 4 out of 5 people.
What happened to the 5th person?
The study said that it
Exploded.
still helped them. Yeah, it still helped them a little bit, but like you're always gonna have like that one person that's just an extreme. Like they're just gonna take a lot more.
I feel you.
So
So do you think people know this shit though? Like, do you think like medical experts and everything know this? Because what?
So there's different things. Like, so let me like get to that
hold on.
first. Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential. I didn't read the paper that you're talking about. I would like to, just like so that I can
Let's look it
like,
up.
talk about things like with more reassurance. I mean, I would be down
Put your code
to.
in.
Hold on, wait, my phone's over there.
Or even at the very least, like read the summary of or like the abstract of it. But no, I think that there is a lot of potential into more of the natural stuff. So like what you're saying with psilocybin, yeah, it just needs to be investigated more. And there was a whole lot of stigma with using psychedelics like psilocybin for medicinal purposes, but
Then what
there's
do
a
you-
lot more, there's a lot more openness to it.
And they just
So-
legalized it in like Colorado now for medical use.
Well, yeah, I mean, even when I was up in Michigan, they legalized it recreationally.
Did
What?
they?
Yeah. Hmm.
So what do you think of like mushroom medicine and shit like that?
So that's what I'm
Chinese
saying.
mushroom medicine.
I think that there's a lot of potential to it. So like the
But that shit's been
issue,
around for years, right?
yeah, I mean, it's been around for like, I mean, a very, very, I don't even know how long, but like a very long time. The thing with like mushrooms now, just like putting mushrooms under as like an umbrella term, is there's so many different types.
Well,
Like, did
there's,
you know
chaga.
potatoes, that there are like hundreds of different types of potatoes? I did not know this until recently.
Well, like with the mushrooms,
I
there's like
did know there were a
chaga,
lot of strains.
There are a
lion's
lot.
mane,
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of different
cordyceps.
There's a lot of different types of mushrooms that each have their own proclaimed benefits, and I have a lot of faith in them, but to actually give a firm recommendation on their
Like the
like
shit
how
they help
effective
with
that they
everything.
are and
Oh,
the
I had a-
efficacy. I mean,
When I was bartending, I had this guy, dog. I love this fucking man, and he had a stroke, and he was all like limping, like half of his left side was fucked up,
Uh-huh.
and like you could see him, and he was like, you could tell he was degrading and shit. And I said, "Take lion's mane, bitch," and he was like, "Rrr." I was like, "Take lion's mane, dog," and I bought it for him, and he told me like a week later, he goes, "I feel better than I did before I had the stroke," and he goes, "I'm just clear, I'm on it," like I'm like, he goes, "I'm fast." And then he got his wife to take that shit too. And like all that shit kind of went away. And he goes, when he's not taking it, he says he kind of feels like how he did like before. Like he feels worse when he's not taking it.
yeah,
And
and
he
like
just takes one in the morning and one at night.
so. I mean, there is a lot of potential benefit to it, but again, a very like prevalent thing that it would be a disservice to not mention or like at least acknowledge is that there is a factor of placebo when you take anything. I mean, so just to kind of like explain what that means, when you're doing a trial, right? And
Yeah.
let's say I was trying to assess the efficacy of lion's mane for whatever I'm investigating at the time for cognitive improvement, let's say, and I have a well-defined, explained way that I'm assessing this, and it's a large enough sample size. Like hypothetically, let's say we have 100 people that are participating in the trial. It's over a 6-week period of time where we are giving a certain dosage that is administered on a consecutive or a consistent schedule, right? So everything in terms of research, like the way it's conducted, is done properly, and it gives people faith in how the study is performed. So I give in this hypothetical 100 group of people that we're doing this experiment with, 50 people are actually getting the experimental substance, the lion's mane.
People are getting sugar dick.
Sugar pills, yeah, right. We're giving them essentially something that's not supposed to do anything.
Yeah.
And then we just have to assess with whatever it is we are using to assess it, this arbitrary thing, if there's any statistical significance in improvement in cognitive function.
But that's so weird that like I just told him it was gonna help, but his brain was affected from the stroke.
So that's, I mean,
so the fact that it helped even after that, like.
The thing with placebo is that there are a lot of like unexplainable outcomes with people, and this is a whole different conversation, but that goes to the power of the mind and what you can do if you have enough,
just
like,
your mental.
with your will. And I mean, especially in terms of like placebo, if there's enough convincing for the person that there is going to be some noticeable change in whatever it is you're looking at, like let's say for improvement in stroke patients. That, I mean, it's not the most
about it.
So
what?
I didn't even press him that hard about it.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. Like there's a lot of people where they participate in experimental trials where you give them something that doesn't really have that there is not supposed to be any therapeutic effect, right? It's a sugar pill. And they say that like, oh my God, doctor, like I feel so much better now that you've been giving me this trial. I want to continue it. Like, can I keep taking the medicine after we're done with
and they're like,
the trial?
You dumb fuck.
And it's like, gotcha.
Sugar.
I mean, you don't have to convey that information until after the study. I mean, you don't convey that until after the study if it's a double-blinded, placebo-controlled trial.
Yeah.
But
I'm not gonna lie. That sentence sounded hard to say.
So with the
it's a lot of practice.
This
double-blinded placebo trial.
Wow.
That sounded like a finishing move.
So wait, with
it kind of is.
with I don't think this is the same exact study, but it's kind of conveying the same information.
If you go to the very top, it should give you like the abstract. So like at least
this is .gov, dog.
So like
in this bitch.
We should probably say what we're looking at.
This study was by John Hopkins.
Okay, so John Hopkins, analysis of psilocybin-assisted therapy in medicine, a narrative review.
I love how you read.
Thank you.
It's just so clear.
Published
like a fucking sugar
February 14th, 2022, so very recently. And yeah, we're looking at the therapeutic effects of psilocybin, it looks like. So
yeah, and so like basically goes through, just so we're not here for like an hour.
Yeah, I wish I would have read it beforehand, but I mean,
no, this was kind of.
We can talk about it in another episode.
He's coming back.
So
no, I'm not. Just kidding. I'm coming back.
The difference.
So wait. So like, it's showing it was an 11-week. This one was an 11-week study, and I just went to the end just to see what the results for major depression.
Gotcha.
But with this one, 95% confidence interval. The conclusion of the study found that 71% of participants had a significant reduction in their depression, measured as a greater than 50% reduction by this test. The
GRID-HAMD, GRID-HAMD.
That kind of sounds sexy.
I have to. Okay, so it's using the GRID Hamilton Depression Rating Scale. Okay, I'm not. I would have to go into that. I'm
yeah, I don't know what the fuck that means.
But it is it's an assessment that I imagine is
4 following treatments, and 58%
used to assess
and
depression.
54% of the participants were considered in remission after week 1 and 13 respectively.
So yeah, I really do believe that there is a lot of potential for the therapeutic uses for things like psilocybin.
So it's like, is there a movement going on with that shit? Like, because I remember how long it took so fucking long for the cannabis shit to like become big.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, so, you know, I if you guys want to get into conspiracies,
yeah,
which like it's not even so much a conspiracy. Like there is there's a push by big pharma to limit the amount of
Studies
usage.
that go against the
yeah,
grain
like
of
the
how they do
studies and usage that are done with things that are natural, like psilocybin.
But why would they do that though? Because it fucking affects their money.
Money, dog.
So what are we, dog?
Well, I
what
mean,
are we
money,
to them?
dog.
The
Huh?
pharmaceutical
What are we?
the pharmaceutical industry
Sheep.
lobbies like hundreds of millions of dollars a year.
Yeah,
into
it's
the government.
It's a big problem. I mean,
Do you think that shit shouldn't be happening?
no, of course. Like it's so anything that is limiting our ability to give a person the best available option is objectively wrong. Like
Yeah.
there's no other way of explaining. Like if you can give somebody something that is shown to be the most promising management, treatment, even diagnostic to assess for whether or not they have something, and you are withholding that, not because like you even you want to, because like you just
Money
I don't have
purposes?
the ability to just make it happen without there being any financial consequence, then it's unfortunate, but it happens
Well, I mean,
more often than not.
That's just like you see
How do you think that
see
became
like
a thing though?
well, you see like every month, right?
Structure,
There's like
you
a
know?
new study that comes out like, oh my God, we found like another miracle potential for cancer or something like that. And then after the study comes out, you just don't see anything on it anymore. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it seems like it's never followed up with again, unless like just I guess the right people are behind it or
Yeah, I mean, there's different factors involved in that. So, I mean, the thing with cancer, and I'm no like cancer specialist by any means, but just the fundamental principle of cancer is very, very complicated because there's so many different ways that cancer can arise, and even for one particular type of cancer. So, like for example,
Like there's
colorectal cancer, or
bone.
or a osteosarcoma,
Or
right?
booty hole cancer?
Colorectal cancer, yeah.
Or
There's
fucking like
there's a lot of different
skin
ways.
cancer?
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways
the
for
name
it
for that
to
one?
come about. There's a lot of different types. There's melanoma, there's
Ooh.
squamous cell carcinoma, there's basal cell carcinoma.
Ah.
Jesus.
But there's a lot of different ways of one particular type of cancer coming about. So like the tumorigenesis of one cancer is not the end all be all mechanism for how it came about. There's different genetic factors and there's different environmental factors where if you have enough and you are unfortunate enough to just have cancer kind of get out of control because cellular mechanisms that prevent cancer fail, and there's enough environmental toxins or triggers that are facilitating higher chances of cancer development, then
It'll happen.
you have cancer. And it could just be, it could be with smoking, it could be with alcohol, and then if you have genetic
Nicotine
predisposition,
gum.
it could be anything. It could be anything. Bad air. Bad air is really bad. That's
So
why it's called bad air.
what do you think about in Cuba they had a lung cancer vaccine?
What's that?
In Cuba they have a
Was it
lung cancer
effective?
vaccine that apparently it's very effective. Yeah.
So I'm unfamiliar with it. I would like to know more about it because it sounds interesting. So a lung cancer vaccine.
When did that shit come out, dog?
It's been a thing.
For how long?
Like my mom's roommate
She has
said
it?
they have it over there.
So can they just fucking eat cigarettes after that?
Probably should not eat cigarettes. This is not medical advice.
Yeah, none of this is medical advice. Except when I post that study. That's the only thing you can refer to for medicine.
And then
And
everything
I'm
below says-
sure our wonderful hosts are going to provide links in the description below.
It is. And I'm also going to put somewhere over here somewhere the paper
Specifically
that we
right-
were reading from.
Here.
Yes.
Oh, go a little lower. I want it over Nick's face.
No. Trust me. It's going over someone's face on that side of
Jalal's
the room.
pretty. Stop.
It's going over your face.
Not as pretty as you, dog.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Smell like fucking victory.
We all smell like victory.
And so,
I feel like it's going to be hard to find like a real thing, but I've spoken to a few people over there and like
that sounds insane.
my mom's roommate has family in medicine in Cuba
Okay.
and they said they have it.
Can we do like a Command F vaccine? Can I do that real quick? I'm just like taking
Do
custody
your thing.
of
Do your thing.
the technology. Oh my God! Now
happened?
we're on Trump and Pence. How do y'all feel about Donald Trump and Mike Pence?
Dog, what are you doing, bro?
I am Command F-ing. That sounds funny. Vaccine treatment.
Well, So far,
Cuba for a vaccine called
so far
Simovax. Okay, let's see. So, in the 2 years since relations between the U.S. and Cuba were normalized under President Barack Obama, a growing number of lung cancer patients traveled to Cuba for a vaccine called Simovax, and more recently, a newer vaccine, Vaxera. These patients are an elusive group. None of those who were apparently provided their real reason for going to Cuba when applying for a visa. Where am I? Oh. Is that a cat? Cat's in here?
Yeah.
When applying for a visa, nor did many of them declare to U.S. customs officials that they were bringing multiple vials of the vaccine into the U.S. on their return. Few even tell their doctors they are taking the injections, which I do not recommend you do. Tell your doctor everything that you can, for fear that they will refuse to treat them further. You should tell your doctor most things if possible.
Your doctor's on your side.
So, like, that is not... So, like, just to kind of debunk that fear... Not even debunk, just, like, to say that that isn't a thing that any patient should worry about. As long as you're transparent, then that gives your physician the ability to best treat you. But when you withhold information, then there are factors or variables within you as a patient where, when not taken into consideration, could lead to adverse treatment or not the best treatment. So you should tell them everything, even if you are doing experimental vaccine trials for lung cancer that you got from Cuba from the guy in that one alley. Always tell your doctor. So I'm not sure. There's a lot of potential behind it, but I'd have to read more about it. There's two different vaccines that they mention. They didn't say, like, for specifically what type of lung cancer.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like, it doesn't, like, I haven't, like, actually obviously been able to, like, speak.
Are we boring you?
No, I have fucking people that are coming to train soon.
Oh God.
Let's go.
But regardless, like, I think that's interesting because let's just say this is completely real, but because it's made in
Trump
Cuba.
And Mike Pence are going again.
No. Mike Pence was just, like, talking shit on an interview about Trump. No, I'm honestly, it's nice to see the Republicans in just a tad bit of disarray. I'm throwing it out there. I'm not picking sides because I don't like any of them.
We opened that.
I'm kind of happy to see it. Like, the Democrats have been getting clapped since my birth. It's nice to see something else.
Okay. So it sounds like you are affiliated with the left side of politics.
No, bro. Nick's so far right conservative. Nick literally, Nick's voicemail is, better not leave voicemail if you're goddamn liberal!
So are you trying to say that's what people on the right sound like?
You're right about that.
Wow.
No. I mean, yeah, that's what it is. They're just not cutting enough taxes. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like, that's all.
Okay. I mean, we could talk more about that, but I guess, like, to summarize, there is a lot of potential for different potential treatments.
Yeah. This is what's crazy to me though. Is like, let's say this is real. They have a cure for general forms of lung cancer.
Okay.
And because, you know, it's not clear by the FDA, obviously understand that. But let's say it's real, it could be vetted, it's true. The fact that they wouldn't do anything here, just because, like, oh man, but we make so much money on chemo. Why would we help cure something in a quarter of the time for a fraction of the cost?
That's crazy.
Like, that's what I honestly think is,
Yeah.
like, the driver. And we were even talking about that with the, you know, why would they allow cyclobin treatments or something like that? Because... you know, antidepressants, they print.
Yeah, and there's different things with that. I mean, when you introduce any new form of medication that there's not a whole lot of information about, it needs to be investigated, and you want it vetted thoroughly. And, like, the vetting process, don't get me wrong, it's as extensive and difficult to get something approved for a reason.
Take?
I mean, it depends on what it is. Like, that's if we're talking about
like a vaccine
something
like that.
Oh,
that'd be quite a while. So,
like, how long do you think?
I mean, I would take
More than a year?
well more than a year. Yeah, most
Why
things.
the fuck did the COVID vaccine only take a year? Huh, doctor?
it got special approval.
Huh?
Yeah, I mean, that one.
Doctor?
There was, like, I mean, every other week there was, like, emergency approval for And that was a very unique situation.
Do
I
you
mean,
feel like
there's
that shit was rushed.
I think that the testing was done. I think that was done properly, but was it? Could more have been done? Absolutely, but,
But
you know,
we
we
were
were
never in a position like a fucking lockdown.
we didn't.
Well,
yeah,
we
I
were-
mean, we didn't really have the luxury of, you know, taking 10 years to monitor for side effects, because there's different levels of clinical trials. So you have phase 1, 2, 3, and 4, and when something is approved and it's given to people, it's going to be, I mean, especially like if it's on a more wide scale, then you still have to monitor for side effects long term. So like, let's say I give you something, right? And it's supposed to fix a problem, and I say, and you come back in a week and you say, you cured everything. Like, thank God for you. You are a blessing. And then 10 years later, your dick falls off.
That'd be a sad.
And it's because
sad
of
day.
what I like, the medicine that I gave you to treat this arbitrary condition.
Did it hurt when it fell off, or did it kind of just like?
It fell off.
Shriveled up and fell off.
Fell off, and now you want reimbursement
no
for
dick.
you're justifiably angry
Yeah.
because of the
How
side
do
effects.
I piss now?
And so in order to prevent that from happening, we have to monitor for side effects, and that's why a lot of times things take years before they're approved. And even when things are approved, there is, you know, a black box warning saying that this may lead to X, Y, and Z consequences. That it's just it's what some people experienced when this was being studied. You know, does that make sense?
I understand. So they basically like gave it out without knowing the side effects of it.
Yeah, because there wasn't enough time to discover whether or not there would be side effects. So this paper
So our
here,
dicks might fall off.
This is an actual like
No.
.gov site about
yeah,
that vaccine.
PubMD, and the study itself is called Clinical Development in Perspectives of Simivax, CIMA Vax, EGF, Cuba vaccine for non-small cell lung cancer therapy. So non-small cell is a group of other lung cancers, which I know this will come to as a surprise to a lot of you, but it is all the lung cancers that are not small cell lung cancer. So
Shocking.
you have small cell lung cancer, and then you have
not small cell.
non-small cell, which
I
is like
when
an
they talk
umbrella
in
term
these
of
terms.
yeah.
They're
So
easy to understand. I feel well articulated.
good. So this was
This
I'm trying to
just saying
read.
it needs to be evaluated here.
Okay. Benefits in earlier NSCLC stages and other tumor locations, as well as in patients unfit for chemotherapy, needs to be evaluated. Evidence of the vaccine safety for chronic use also needs to be systemized, which is kind of like what we were just saying. So yeah, there's a lot of potential for these different forms of treatment that could potentially be something that is used on a, you know, more, it's like the gold standard, right? But before we can make something, I mean, especially gold standard, it needs to, we need to understand what are all the potential side effects that, you know, you can develop from something like this. Because the problem with giving something like a vaccine is that, especially in people who are susceptible to complications. So for example, people who have like an underlying rheumatologic disease like lupus, you can,
Selena Gomez got that shit.
yeah, she does. And lupus sucks. It's really it's terrible. It's not fun. There's different severities of lupus as well, but if you give, like, I would be very skeptical to give something that's especially experimental to somebody who has
Lupus.
just a higher predisposition for developing complications. So,
I feel, you ever play Kingdom Hearts?
no, it's been a while.
Or
I mean,
like seen the Harry Potter movies?
those are way different things. I mean, like,
Lupus sounds like a spell. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny. It does.
yeah,
Like,
I mean, there's a lot of like
And you start
pathologies. There's a lot of pathologies that sound like Harry Potter spells. I think like there's like a thing called a placental abruption.
That's not a Harry Potter spell.
No, it's a complication of pregnancy, and the medical term for it is like placenta abruptio. I think it's something like, it sounds super spell like from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
It's like
So, what do you think about abortion?
You know what I'm gonna say, Nick.
Oh no.
Not because I have an actual like a I don't know, like a unpopular opinion. It's just it's an inside joke with Nick.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Zoom in on Nick.
I don't know what he's talking. I'm the one zooming in, and it's zooming in right on Dylan.
Nick, you want to talk about this, bro?
Well, I don't need 2 mics. I don't need 2 mics. Get out of here.
Something about what was
So,
it?
like-
It being some form of choice. Was it? Would you say there was the?
Nick, please speak.
I was simply asking a question. Do you find it's more of a medical treatment, or do you find it is as philosophical as people like to make it?
I think that it needs to be something that is within our capabilities, or something that we're allowed to do. To say that it's completely outlawed, to me, is crazy. Like, that makes, I mean, I'm sorry, but like from many people's perspective, and I mean, I don't really know many of my friends in medicine or people I've worked with, residents, attendings, that would say that no, all abortions should be completely like that's not a choice, because then you're saying that if there is a complication, like somebody has I mean,
Their baby got 3 dicks.
I wouldn't say like that would require an abortion, but like if somebody is preeclampsia, right, or like eclampsia, and you don't take care of that, like the mother will die.
That's
Yeah,
why it
that
sounds like a
mother will
spell.
die.
Loomis means light. Watch this.
Yeah, if you saw Siri that.
Loomis.
I mean, there's a lot of stories coming out now, like where it's like now outlawed, where it's like the doctors will literally say, even though the baby's, let's say, like just it's dead, for lack of better words.
Sure, I
can't
mean,
think of it. But like
it's a
they'll
non-viable
actually force,
fetus.
Yeah, they'll force the mom to have the birth, even if it's like a threat to their life, because they don't want to accept the liability.
Yeah,
Like, that's insane.
yeah, no, it's I mean, I haven't heard of any particular instances where that had happened, but that's
And it's happening in the Midwest.
yeah, and if that's
It's
happening,
primarily.
then it is like we are very much so going backwards in medicine, because we have an understanding of what complications can arise for different issues with pregnancy, and
Guys, I'm just asking. I have to do shit. Do you guys want to...
giving us a hard stop right now. Are you
No, I'm not saying...
are
have
you
to fucking
shutting this
stop.
shit
You're
down?
saying lupus and lupus and fucking pregnancies and like
You're
abortion
telling us that
and
like
shit.
we're done.
How Nick feels. I'm saying I'm done.
I was
have
having
shit
a
to
good time,
the
dog.
People are here. It's fucking...
Who the people?
It's time to train.
What
What
does
are
that
you training
even
for?
mean?
Fighting.
Wow.
I have a group of people. They're outside.
Well, Dylan's actually like the equivalent of Mickey from Rocky, and he's training all these kids.
Yeah, and
They're
like
literally all like
he's
20 something.
he's forcing me to throw in the towel.
No,
I